Welcome back to another episode of the Voice and Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Teddy Kim. And today we'll be diving deep into a topic some of us have already experienced in their life. Doubt. So it's self-doubt, doubt about our choices, doubt about our future. It can be a heavy burden to carry, but what if I told you we can shift gears into looking at another perspective of what doubt is. And joining me is a very special guest, someone who has been here before, Dennis Miano.
Kabisa.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
And let's start with the basics. What is doubt, and why do you think it's such a common experience to many of us?
Doubt is a state of uncertainty. I can also call it lack of conviction. Most of us like taking steps when we are convicted is the right thing, but doubt comes when you're not sure of the next step, whether it will work against you or it will work for you. So I think that's where doubt comes in. So a state of uncertainty, lack of conviction, I would simply describe it as that. Yes.
And why do you think it's so common among many of us?
Doubt is common because life in itself is a mystery. Mystery means that nobody knows the next step, the next hour, how tomorrow will look like. And everything in life is just a mystery. Very few things are you sure of how it will turn out the next thing. Sometimes you're watching a game at home, electricity goes away. So even when you're enjoying the basic things, it's never certain. Unaweza kuwa unachapa shower yako hivyo, maji ipotee. So life in itself is a mystery. And I think that's where doubt comes in, because very few of us, or actually all of us, we are not sure of the next step. It's only that now, after gaining knowledge or experience or some form of confidence in the process that we are going through, that's when you can tell how it can, but not 100% sure of what it will look like. Probably tomorrow you know your program from morning, how you want to do your things, but it's not 100% because probably you've decided to be somewhere by 7:30. Umezoea kuchukua taxi to work or a bodaboda or a matatu to work by 7. Takes you 30 minutes to be there. You wake up, matatus are not there. You're not getting any, ama zote zinakuja zimejaa. So you are sure of what you want to do tomorrow, but you're not sure how it will all turn out, because tomorrow is still a mystery. Yeah. The next step is a mystery. Everything in life is a mystery. So I think that's why doubt comes in.
As I've said, doubt is a common experience to many of us.
Yeah.
Whether it's starting a new job, starting a new relationship, and when should we know, or how do we know when doubt is holding us back?
The fact that everything is a mystery doesn't mean that doubt should prevent us from taking the steps that we need to take. Because again, in life, if you do nothing about anything, nothing will happen about that thing. So you realize that doubt has gotten to that level where it has prevented you from taking advantage of opportunities that could have benefited you, when they have prevented you from taking a step that sometimes is not just about benefiting us, but also benefiting other people. When doubt gets to that level whereby it has prevented you from moving, then I would actually classify it as unhealthy kind of doubt, because at the end of the day, there are things that you desire in life that you'll not be able to move towards simply because of doubt. And even the people whom we see doing these things, it's not like they are sure, but they put faith forward, so that as much as I do not know, I'll take a step with the expectation that this thing will turn out this way. And that's why I think we normally say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So it's good to take that step with the understanding that if it doesn't destroy me, then I'll be stronger for the next step that I'll be taking after that one.
I love that.
Yes.
And some people might argue that doubt can be a good thing, that maybe it can push us in evaluating our choices more critically.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I think that's true. As I said, there's unhealthy kind of doubt, but there's also the healthy kind of doubt. I know in the community that I come from, they normally say the person who is afraid, they went home safe. Because at the end of the day, there's some kind of doubt, especially when we are putting ourselves in situations of danger. And there's a doubt that comes when you're in the wrong company, when you're about to do the wrong thing. Especially if you've been brought up in a way whereby, in an environment whereby there was a certain level of discipline. When you're going against that, there's normally a certain level of doubt, like, will this go well? Will I succeed in this one? Am I putting myself in danger? There's a healthy kind of doubt that prevents you from putting yourself or exposing yourself to risks that are unnecessary. For example, if you're driving a vehicle and you do not have a driving license, and you've also stolen this vehicle probably from a guardian, from a big brother, or from a friend, you'll drive it with the doubt, like, what if he calls me when I'm on my way to where I want? What if I meet the police? It's a good kind of doubt, because it will prevent you from taking a very risky step, because should anything happen to you in that process, then you land yourself in trouble, either with the authorities or with the person whom you've taken the vehicle from, or the person probably who has warned you repeatedly, don't take this step in life, don't do this without this, and then you've gone ahead and taken the step. Then in such a case, I would call that the good kind of doubt. Because in such a case, it will prevent you from finding yourself in a position whereby you might endanger your life, you might endanger the life of other people, you might endanger your loved ones, simply because you refused to give in to the kind of doubt that is healthy. So that doubt is two ways. There's the healthy kind of doubt, and there's the unhealthy kind of doubt. In some instances, you'll be told, if you're not sure, please don't go ahead with that thing, especially when it comes to investments. People do, we say, of course, the bigger the risk, the bigger the returns. But there's another term that is normally added before the word risk. It's called calculated risk. So as much as you are risking, whenever you have doubt, because your calculations are not adding up, then it's a good kind of doubt, because by that we have found people who have risked their resources, and then they end up crying because they did a big investment, they end up losing their money. So doubt helps us to analyze situations. It actually takes you to that point to analyze, to look at, is this opportunity viable? Is it the right people? How are they going to grow my money so for them to give me the return that they have promised me? So doubt keeps you to takes you to a level of awareness before you take any kind of step, because if you didn't doubt, you'd go ahead and do it straightforward. But because of doubting, just trying to find one thing that would make you hold on to this decision or idea, then it leads you to a place of research. It leads you to a place of seeking awareness, knowledge, understanding, and even wisdom pertaining a certain thing. So I'd say healthy doubt is good.
So it's a matter of balance, right?
It's a matter of balance, yeah.
And how do we distinguish between this healthy doubts and that which one is a barrier?
As I've said, healthy doubt prevents risks. Unhealthy doubt blocks opportunities. It's natural, as I've said, because of how mysterious life is. Normally, most things we will doubt. How you'll differentiate between the two is, of course, even if you're not sure about tomorrow comes, and then, like yesterday was tomorrow sometime. The day before yesterday was actually tomorrow. It was mysterious. But there are things that you still decided, I'll still do them. When you look back, then you do you balance your things. You realize there are things that you took a step, you did, and they became you are actually successful in them, or actually they exposed you to more opportunities. We are talking about the things that you have already done. And looking backwards as well, you realize that there are those things that you did and they ended up putting you in problems. So when you look from history, you're able to identify, actually this was a good kind of doubt, this was a bad kind of doubt, from the things that have already happened in the past. with that, it helps you now. You're not supposed, of course, to dwell in the past, but with that, it enables you to make now an informed decision about now the things that are yet to come. That one will help you now to, even before these things happen, because it's easy to identify from the past because it has already happened. But when you're talking about things that are yet to happen, then the things of yesterday should help us to make informed decision when it comes to situations whereby we are not sure of the outcome. So the difference between the two is that one leads to risks, the other one leads to opportunities. We should differentiate between the two. Not necessarily is a risk a good thing. Because, for example, if you're driving a vehicle and you risk hitting people, I don't think it's a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. But there's a kind of risk whereby you put your money into something. For example, when people are buying shares, it's a risk, but it's a good one. It's a healthy risk because there is a chance that the shares might appreciate. Probably you bought it at 5 shillings. Tomorrow it will be selling at 10 shillings, and you make 5 shillings out of every share that you purchased.
It's a good risk.
It's a good risk because at the end of the day, there's an opportunity of a better outcome. Actually, that's a better way of classifying. An unhealthy risk has very minimal chances of something good coming out or getting something good as an outcome. A healthy risk has a good chance of getting a good outcome at the end of the day. There's a balance between the bad and the good outcome. But at the end of the day, I will call such a risk a good one because even if the shares don't appreciate, you come out with a lesson. Next time as you make your investment, you are better informed. Which industry, which season, and all those things.
Yes,
so at the end of the day, I'll still classify a healthy risk as one with a good outcome. Whether in terms of lesson, whatever kind of return comes is a good one. An unhealthy kind of doubt, at the end of the day, nothing good comes out of it.
And what practical methods would our listeners use to overcome doubt in their lives?
One way is to seek knowledge, because most of the times we fail to take steps in areas whereby we are less informed. For example, today I'll focus on the side of investment. If you've never invested in probably real estate, it will take you a lot of faith for you to invest in it because it's an industry which you are less informed about. When you become informed about this industry, then you realize that as much as you've not invested in it, there are people who are investing in it and getting a return out of that thing. Why? Because they have developed their knowledge in understanding that kind of industry, in understanding that kind of field, for them to overcome their fear and get the confidence that there is actually good returns, and if I do my things this or that way, I'm able to get returns. Most of the people who overcome doubt in a wrong way, they find themselves, yes, it's a good kind of opportunity for them, but they still end up they'll still classify this kind of doubt as an unhealthy, not because it was unhealthy in the first place, but because of the lack of knowledge in the kind of thing that is ahead of them. So I think one of the biggest ways to overcome doubt is knowledge, seeking of knowledge. For example, when someone wants to settle down with somebody, you never know how it will turn out. So there's always an aspect of fear. What if they become like this? What if? And that's why we encourage, take time, get to understand this person, and then get knowledge about the next step of life where you're getting to. When you do that, then you move to this step informed. It's a whole different thing. When you take a step, two people might take the same step, but the outcome is totally different.
Yeah, true.
Simply because of the knowledge. Not only in terms of knowledge, but also skills that are necessary. Like I've said, a good example is driving. When you know you're a good driver, especially now when we go to off-road, because I know kwa lami it's easy for everybody. If you're doing off-road, probably a road that is not the best, an experienced driver or someone who is well trained, we have the defensive driving classes, someone who has undergone such a class would confidently get into a car without knowing the destination, simply because they know I am actually trained to handle good and bad roads. So also in terms of developing our own skills in the areas of doubt that we seriously think and we are fully convicted that there are good opportunities on the other side of this doubt, then it's a good thing to grow your skills, to grow your knowledge. In other words, I'll just summarize it by saying grow your capacity in that area that you think there is doubt which is preventing you from taking a step that could potentially lead you to a good outcome on the other side.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yes.
And let's get a little bit personal. Maybe in your life, you've experienced this doubt.
Yes.
How was it, and how did you overcome it?
If I start talking about my experience with doubt, I know I have a lot of examples, because of course, especially when there is transition in life, there is doubt. When you go to new environments, new opportunities, there'll always be doubt. One instance was a time when I had been invited for an interview. I had zero experience in the field that I had been invited to. And so by the lack of experience, and I also didn't have, I had researched to get sufficient knowledge pertaining to the industry, but not pertaining to interviews. So when I went to the interview, because I had simply shared my CV with the HR, so I thought to myself, they already have the documents. So I came the way, nilikuja nimesimama, no document, nothing. Only to get to the room, to the lounge where we were waiting for our names to be called, and I found people with files, very well organized. And doubt kicked in at that moment, and I started asking myself, if this is how these guys have prepared, mimi nimeishi hapa. There is no way I'm going to pass this interview. If this is how already I was actually now, if we were being graded out of 100%, I was actually deducting some marks from my side because of how I came. Just the appearance, how I came. Yes, I had done my official, but I had no documents. I had nothing. I looked at their files. They were huge because of probably the certificates they have gained through the experiences and all those things, which is a good thing.
And you just came standing.
Looking at myself in such a situation, when they saw me, I'm sure there are people who gained confidence simply because they saw me unprepared. Not looking as prepared as them. So I think in that instance, doubt kicked in. I almost disqualified myself. But as we said, we need to overcome this doubt, because again, as much as there are some who looked prepared, there are some who didn't look prepared sufficiently, nobody knew what the HR would be impressed with. We were both on the line waiting for our names to be called. And I would say this is one of the instances whereby I learned to overcome unhealthy kind of doubt. Because in this instance, if I focused on what they had. Another example is whenever we had exams in school. And probably you get to class and you hear someone, they're discussing a subject that you're about to sit an exam for, and the things they're talking about you've never had. You've been in school for a whole semester, for a whole term. The things they're talking about you have never had. Doubt kicks in. Am I really prepared for this exam? So you might choose to start now hearing what do they know that I don't know? You keep on moving from this group to the other one. By the time the exam starts, probably you had 30 minutes before the exam starts. You have wasted it trying to grasp too many things that your brain cannot comprehend in that amount of time. Personally, I used to say, this is what I've studied, this is what I'll stay with. And I keep on now getting deeper in what I have already understood. Alternatively, if there's just one thing that I can grasp from this group, just one thing and know it well, such that if a question comes, I can explain it well, I focus on that. Instead of now trying to jump from one place to the other, from one topic to the other, you waste a lot of time. At the end of the day, you don't really have good understanding of whichever subject. At the end of the day, it will come, you'll have an idea, but you'll not have the answers. So, two instances whereby I've had doubt, but somehow I was able to overcome it. Most of the times, you actually, after you get the results, you realize, kumbe I was actually more prepared than these guys, because probably they had focused on that one topic. Let's say you've learned 12 topics in a whole semester. You studied the first 11. You got tired, ukamua year 12. I don't have time to study it. This person probably alifungwa hivi akangukia topic 12. That's what they have studied and that's what they know. And then you go to the exam room, that's what you ninakupea baridi. You forget you have a significant amount of topics that you've already researched, you've already read about. That should give you confidence in the work that you've already done. When you doubt, then it even puts you in a place of pressure whereby you really don't understand. A question might come, a very simple question that you've already studied, but you wonder, do I answer it my way or their way? And yet your way, you have studied it, you are confident about it. So it's doubt. I have experienced doubt in my life. Those are just two examples. But there's also a time I was transiting from one company to the other. I was in the situation whereby I was wondering, if I take this step, will this company be better than where I am today? Or will I take this step and then regret moving from a familiar environment, a familiar product? These are new place. Probably the pressure might be different. I'm already used to the kind of pressure on this side. And in the movement from this company to the other, they actually changed my location geographically from one town to the other. So I had a lot of doubt. I remember some instance I told the HR who was giving me my the letter to say that I've actually passed my interviews. I actually requested them to give me an hour because I was in real doubt, because I was wondering, how will I survive in a different kind of environment, a whole different town, a whole different company, a whole different people. It was doubt, but what gave me the confidence is that there is a good chance of getting good outcome out of this opportunity. Just like I said, how you will classify the two. If you look at any situation critically, from the side that you sit and from the other side of after the doubt, and there is an opportunity for good outcome, then I think it's just good to take a step of faith and believe in yourself. Yes.
And do you think that doubts have stages? Like kuna age fulani ndo doubt maybe na hitin vizuri, and maybe with maturity or the other age it becomes better?
I wouldn't classify it in terms of age, but I would classify it in terms of how many you have overcome. Because up to date you'll find people who probably are older than you, but the things you have confidence in doing, they still don't have the confidence to do those things. So I wouldn't say you'll overcome doubt by a matter of age, that there's a certain age you'll get and you'll overcome doubt. I think the stages of doubt go with how many you overcome or how many overcome you. The more doubt overcomes you, the more faith you'll have in your abilities to take the next step. If every day you give it as an excuse, oh, I'm not good, oh, I don't think I'll succeed in this, oh, so and so tried, the more you allow that, the deeper you sink into doubt. You might be very young, but probably you've been able to overcome doubt a number of times. Like, for example, even in as young as in Sunday school, there are those kids who, whatever comes their way, they are ready to take advantage. Who will sing? Me. Who will present? Me. Who will try a member? Not necessarily, they won't necessarily do it well, but they took the step of, I'll try. Such people in life realize that as they grow upwards, they have more impossibilities according to them. Whatever you throw against them, I'll overcome this one. It's not a big deal. So doubt, you don't overcome it as a matter of age, but by the repeated action of overcoming your doubts. If you do it often enough, then you realize that you'll be taking more risks that have good outcome. Because now you have the confidence that if I did it yesterday, if I took a step that gave me this kind of outcome, some good kind of outcome, then I'll actually go ahead and take this step. But if you were afraid yesterday, there's a high chance that even today you'll doubt and you might not take the step. So it's a matter of practicing. Challenge yourself to take those steps, especially if it's something good. If you've been telling someone I would love to be a good musician, and an opportunity to sing comes, by all means, that's a good opportunity. Whether you'll do it well or badly, that's a good opportunity, because there's a huge chance that you'll stand there, get the confidence to sing the second time. Someone will actually see your gift, and from that you might be exposed to opportunities that probably you could not find yourself getting before that opportunity. So the stages of doubt is on the how frequently you overcome or you allow it to overcome you.
Sure. So it should be a way of creating opportunities.
Yes.
And as we wrap up our conversation, what are your final thoughts to our listeners on navigating through doubt?
My final thought would be, I'll just say this one statement: take that step that you're so afraid of taking. Of course, not one that will lead you to a negative outcome, but if you truly believe, like the example of someone who sees themselves singing in those big stages, when that opportunity comes, by all means grab it. Because again, opportunities will not be there every other day. And you don't have to be sure about the next step. You just need to have faith. And that one thing that will give you confidence that if I take this step, there's a good chance that it might turn out for my good. So my closing statement would be, take that step that you think might open those doors for you. And do it confident. You don't have, I would say do it confidently, but even if you do it shaking, but you do it, that's something. Someone said that if you cannot run, you can walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. But by whatever means, move towards your goal. Don't stop yourself because of doubts. But if you can't run like your friend, then just walk to that opportunity. Do it shaking, do it with your fingers sweating, but at the end of the day, do it. And you realize that there is a lot of good on the other side of doubt, just like fear. Because I think you wouldn't separate fear and doubt.
Yeah.
They come together. Doubt comes as a result of, I'm afraid I will lose my money. I'm afraid I'll be ashamed. I'm afraid they'll laugh at me. So that brings doubt. What if they don't laugh at you? What if you don't lose your money?
It's a lost opportunity.
Yes. So that would be my take home.
And thank you so much. Today's conversation was incredibly enlightening. And to our viewers, thank you so much for choosing BTL TV to be a channel. And if you like this episode, make sure to subscribe and share to your friends. And be mindful.
Thank you.